Hey guys, I got a new video for you today, and this is going to be a quick look at a new knife that I just picked up. Obviously, as you guys can see by what's in front of you and by the title, this is a knife from Quartermaster Knives. Now, I want to start off the video by saying I did not have any hands-on experience with Quartermaster Knives. I always really liked their designs, but I felt that they were very aggressive, very tactical looking, and for my particular carry needs, as far as everyday carry, they were a little bit too thick and bulky. I wanted something that's a little bit thinner, easier to get in and out of the pocket. So that's why I never really picked any of them up until this particular one. Now, this one is the Texas T Mr. Roper edition, and this is actually what Quartermaster is calling the king of EDCs. Now, one of the reasons that I picked this up is because this was a limited 300 piece run, and if you guys can see by the box right here, this is number 155 out of 300. So besides it being pretty limited, I also wanted to check it out because it was completely different from everything else that they were putting out. So I can go ahead and open the box so you guys can see what it's all about. Inside the box you get a catalog. Now I was going through the catalog and looking at the other models that they put out, and obviously, like I was mentioning before, you can see how more aggressive they are, especially like with these two huge thumb studs on these, the blade designs, the geometry and stuff like that. And then you get to the Mr. Roper here, and it's obviously more sleek, more of an EDC look to it. Now, one thing that I really got a kick out of is the names that they give to their blades. If you notice right here on this side, these four are actually named after each team member of the A-Team, Popular 80s show, which is pretty cool. If you guys don't know, the Mr. Roper was actually the landlord in the TV show Three's Company. So, I did get a kick out of some of the names that they were giving to their blades. So, you got a catalog in the box. Besides that, obviously, is the blade right here, and it comes in this Ziploc bag. And again, this is number 155 out of 300. And then you also get a certificate of authenticity. There it is, it's signed 155 of 300, and then 32914 is the date. So let's put this box to the side and get into the knife itself. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and read some of the information directly off the site so you guys get the most up-to-date information on the knife itself. To begin with, it is titanium handles, so it does have a really nice kind of elegant look to it. They are blasted, so you get a little bit more grippiness. They're not so smooth, so that's always nice. But it does slide in and out of the pocket pretty easily, and again, that's one of the features that you would need out of a really good EDC blade. So if this is being hailed as the king of EDC, that's what you'd want. The hardware along with the blade are black. The blade is black because of that Texas T coating that's on the blade, but I think it matches the hardware really, really nice, and it offsets the handle color nice as well. So is the pocket clip. Now, one thing I did notice about the pocket clip is it's actually very long in comparison to a lot of other pocket clips as far as the length of the clip to the actual handle. Now, that doesn't it doesn't take away from the way it rides in the pocket or anything like that. It's just, something that I wanted to mention. Now, obviously, this is a frame lock, so, you do have the cutout there, and you have a hole, a thumb hole, which is how you would deploy the blade. So, the blade open, the blade itself is 3 inches long, so it's pretty much a standard EDC length. This will definitely will be able to handle any EDC tasks that you put to it. The handle, the titanium handle they're not very thick, but they're thick enough to where you get some really nice purchase on the knife. And then along with the jimping that you have behind there, it is very functional. Your thumb does lock on there. It's not going to go anywhere, and it gives you good grip on the knife itself. This is a hollow ground CPM 154 blade, so obviously it's a very good steel. It holds the edge really nice. Now this came very sharp out of the factory, which is really nice. I do like when I don't have to do anything else to it. Now, one thing that I did find, and I'm assuming that it is because of just the type of knife and stuff like that, is that fit and finish on the knife itself was not 100% perfect. I don't know if you guys can see it right here. There's a little bit of a coating missing from the blade there, and then on the titanium itself. But again, because this is going to be an EDC knife, and especially titanium, it will pick up some scratches and stuff like that. I wasn't really worried about that. Again, this is going to be a user, so if you're going to use it, it'll eventually look that way. So let me see if I can focus on the blade here. You do have the Quartermaster logo right there, and it says USA made. Manufactured 314 and then 155 of 300. All right. So weight on this is going to be 4.05 ounces. So it is a little bit heavier than what it would normally look like. I mean, it is a medium-sized knife, but probably right after small, you know, so I don't know if I'm making myself clear on that, but it's not a small knife and it's not a medium knife. It's right there in the middle. So for that size, the weight is a little bit heavier, but you do want it to have that little bit of weight to it, just because, you know, since the handles don't have a lot of grip to them, you want to be able to have, you know, the weight on the knife to be able to control the knife, you know, if I'm making myself clear on that. So obviously this is a USA made knife, which is it's always a plus. You do get a fairly large lanyard hole in the back there. If you're gonna throw a lanyard or something with a bead and, you know, make it look a little nicer, you can always do that. So this is actually, it's very nice, and again, for my first experience with Quartermaster knives, I think they definitely knocked it out of the park on this one. Now, as far as king of EDC, it's obviously that's you know, very dependent on what your particular EDC, you know, choices and uses and stuff like that are for a knife. I don't know if I would say that this is the end-all EDC knife, but it definitely is a great addition to any EDC rotation. Now, what I wanted to do is I wanted to roll in and basically more for size comparison, one of my favorite EDC knives, and that's the Ontario Rat 1. So obviously this is not comparing materials or anything like that, just comparing size-wise. So as you guys can see, the Mr. Roper is a lot smaller than the Rat 1. And then we'll look at the thickness right here. Obviously this has the liners and the scales. And so there you go. There's the thickness. Blade thickness are pretty similar, but again, the blade is a little bit longer on the Rat 1. So there you go. Like I said, this is one of my favorite EDC knives, and we'll see, you know, what role this one takes. I haven't carried this yet, and again, you know, if you guys are seeing those kind of marks on there, this is the way that it came from the factory, or, you know, from where I purchased it. So, you know, again, some people might not like that, you know, and this might only be mine that came that way. But, you know, for the most part, if I am going to carry this, it'll eventually get that way, so I don't really mind it. Now, the one thing that I did notice is a lot of times when you have a frame lock, it's, if they don't cut this part out enough to where you're able to get your thumb in there very easily, then it becomes a little bit cumbersome to be able to do that. Now, this has just enough cut, and you do have a little bit of jimping there, but besides that, it's very easy to disengage the blade, which is something that I really, really liked. Now, the one thing that I did notice from another video that I saw on this particular knife is that it kind of tends to favor the non-lock side, and mine does as well. I don't know if that's just, you know, alignment or anything like that, but for the most part, it's, you know, it's pretty rock solid. You know, there's no blade play up, down, left, and right. So I'm not gonna really, you know, mess with it. It doesn't rub on the blade or anything like that. So, you know, I don't have to worry about that. So there it is. This is the Quartermaster Knives Texas T Mr. Roper edition, and the titanium handles with the CPM 154 blade. Let me know if you guys have any questions. Thanks.